All right, welcome back, YouTubers. This is Inland Northwest Native News. I'm your host, Jeff Ferguson.
And I'm your co-host, Margo Hill.
All right, thank you once again for joining us. Today is March 3rd. It is Wednesday, and it's another great day to be Indigenous. We'd like to thank you once again for joining us. If this is your first time here, we'd like to say lemlemsh. We are here on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 8 a.m., covering news and events on a national, regional, and local level for Indian country in the Inland Northwest. 11 tribes from as far west as the Colvilles, as far east as the Blackfeet, down to the Yakama, Umatillas, Warm Springs, up to the Kootenai of Idaho, the Salish Kootenai, and then the Perce, the Spokanes, the Kalispels, the Coeur d'Alenes. We're all in there, and we're just, trying to keep you up to date and talking about issues that affect you and affect Indian country. And if you want to keep up with us, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. So with that being said, how are you doing this morning?
Ches Squawks, good morning. I'm the co-host, Margo Hill, and we are bringing you stories that you are interested in. If it's sports, if it's cultural events, if it's entertainment, we're going to be working to bring you live interviews. In fact, we have one later this morning, and we're just excited to share with you all the great things that are happening in Indian country and things that pertain to our community.
Yeah, we have Tony Louie coming up, Colville gentleman who has got an Emmy under his belt, had a winning music video that he did. He's toured around this area. He's actually gone overseas. He's taken his music abroad, and he grew up amongst the Inchalim group, and was very influenced by Jim Boyd, and so he's just gone and grabbed the reins and taken it in his own direction, the whole Indian music rock and roll thing, and he's doing wonderful things with it.
His dad was Bob Louie, who sang with Grey Wolf previously, so he just kind of grew up around music. His mom is also a beautiful singer. It's so cool to bring some of our folks live right here with the show.
Yeah, so that being said, we better get going because we got an interview to do, we got a couple videos to show, and we have this very first story of this gal here, Teri Anderson. So Teri, this is a pretty cool story, ran front page of the Fig Tree. Renters' plight stirs passion action.
So Teri works for tenants. She is director of the tenants unit of Washington. She knows all about the moratorium on eviction that was established during the COVID pandemic. And it's really the only thing standing between some folks and homelessness, talking with the tenants every day. She hears their stories and knows their truths. Our society values property rights over human rights in housing, Teri said. She's just seen too many people really become homeless. Jeff, I teach a housing class for Eastern Washington University, and Teri was our guest speaker last night. She is just amazing. She's making things happen to protect tenants here in Spokane and housing rights, and she is working on bills clear to Olympia to try to protect folks that live in poverty and are close to eviction.
Yeah, it was, they have a nice quote in here. It would make anyone passionate because the world of tenants is rife with injustices. My frustration leads to my passion. That's what she says in this article. It's a great article. We'll leave the link. We'll leave all the links to all the stories that we cover in the comment section below. If you have any questions or comments, feel free you can chime in. We are on the live stream. We're taking comments if you have anything you'd like to add to the things that we're discussing, and then you can also leave comments in the section below, especially if you have story ideas or if you have any interviews that you'd like to see us do. So
shout out to Teri. She's out there on the front lines trying to help folks to keep their housing. So thank you, Teri Anderson.
All right, next up we have Potlatch. We have the Potlatch Fund is hosting a storyteller series, Native Professional Night, Healing with Our Elders, with Yvette Pinkham and Glenn Pinkham, March 17th, 2021, at 5 p.m. So we will leave the link for that. To read what they wrote, it says, we invite our community to Native Professionals Night, Healing with Our Elders, with Glenn and Yvette, Join us in coming together in a healing way with storytelling and elder wisdom. Potlatch Fun, One Fire Storyteller Series. And the link is, we'll leave it in the comment section below. If you're not familiar with the Potlatch Fund, they were an organization. I think they were going, they've got to be coming up on their 20th anniversary. I think a couple years ago they said it was like, I think it was their 16th or 17th year. They had some really amazing founders. I know Anton Minthorn was one of their founding board members. And then they've just been doing amazing things. Right when COVID hit last year, they stepped up and sent out grants to all of these different organizations and people. I know they got some emergency funding that they were given, and that's their job. You know, Potlatch really, it's about expanding philanthropy in Indian country. It's a Seattle-based organization. Mary Coomer has been with them for a while now, and they do wonderful things. They fund education, they fund language programs, they fund I should say education programs, not necessarily education, not like a scholarship, but they also give out grants to Native artists and nonprofits, and they have given out millions, literally millions, and every year they do. I think their budget is somewhere in the $900,000 range, but I know that they got a bunch of money too, so they just turn around and you know, one of the things I think is really cool about them is they're trying to change the way that big corporations look at philanthropy and the way that they look at Indian people and tribes, rather than grouping us all together. They make people begin to look at tribes on an individual with individual identities, and I think that's really important because, you know, they say that we have the Cascade Curtain between here and the coast. Well, the coastal tribes are very different in culture, but they're still our relatives, you know. And
yeah, Jeff, weren't you just part of a cohort a few years back on Potlatch?
Yes, I did the artist cohort, and we went down and met at Showband for the first time, and it's a 10-month cohort program to mentor artists so they can become self-sufficient in selling their art and promoting themselves and marketing and all that kind of thing. It was a great program. I met some amazing artists. I met Toma Villa was in there. Natasha Alphonse out of, well, she's out of Alaska, but she's got a pottery studio in Seattle now. Just a bunch of great artists, and yeah, that was an excellent experience.
The purpose of Potlatch really is to support artists in their business development, and then they support other cultural programs. So hats off to Potlatch. I know we've given during the Potlatch Gala in the past, and you've helped with the auctioneering to raise money. So thanks for supporting all of our Native artists. Buy Native, support Native. Let's rock the house with our Native arts and culture.
Yeah, they didn't have their big gala this last year because of COVID, and I kind of missed everybody. It was cool. I think that would have been my 5th or 6th year helping with the gala, but we raise our hands to Potlatch. Shout out. Thanks for...
We better keep moving along. I have a video here, Jeff, and I don't know how to expand the screen. I'm not as good at the technical things as Jeff is, but we have a story on Kamaya Bird, and we might have to start it back a little bit to tell the story of one of our own tribal members, Kamaya Bird.
Oh, we're having technical difficulties with the audio. Hang on for 1 second, and we could pause this, see if we can get it to... Yeah.
Earlier there was something on my computer.
So, yeah, we're going to need this for our... Hold on.
Sorry.
We're going to need the sound, because the sound needs to be HDMI coming out there. So that should do it, if we're right. Oh, you had it muted.
NCAI Bird back in September. She was...
We see if we can...
shot while she was driving. It is the Metro Police said...
All right, so now if we can expand that, we'll go from there. So we apologize for our technical difficulties this morning, but I know that we're going to need the audio for Tony Louie, and we have another video coming up too. So
it's not expanding.
Go up here, hit that one, and then down here.
They really are
staff,
at a dead end.
so.
It is the murder of Kamei Bird back in September. She was shot while she was driving home from work on I-15. Homicide detectives are now providing some exclusive new video in the case, hoping someone knows something they don't.
She was beautiful, just a beautiful young woman.
Kamei Bird was generous. She loved her family, loved to help others, and adored traveling.
She was fearless.
On September 16, 2020, Bird was thinking of leaving Las Vegas and her job at a downtown casino. Her mother, Gloria, thinks she may have moved back to her hometown, Spokane, Washington. In one cruel flash, it was over.
Somebody who's like, your heart is just gone. It feels strange because we weren't there.
You may remember the case. I-15 at Flamingo was closed for most of that September day as detectives tried to figure out what happened, how a woman driving home from work could be shot and killed on the freeway.
We do not have a suspect, we don't have a suspect vehicle, and we need help on this case.
Lieutenant Ray Spencer leads Metro Police's homicide unit. He says his team has chased all the possible leads in the case, anyone who might have wanted Kamei Bird dead.
The case is not much farther than where we were back in September. So what you're going to see
now, for the first time, Metro Police are sharing these surveillance videos of what happened around midnight, September 16th.
The cars are very blurry. Okay, we're tracking headlights, we're tracking tail lights.
These are the best views from hundreds of hours of video.
This is going to be the victim's car. Notice how she stops.
That's when detectives believe Bird was shot on the eastbound Flamingo off-ramp. 30 seconds later, it starts veering back onto the highway, where it was hit by a passing car.
These are all potential suspects now.
Lieutenant Spencer says Metro is very interested in this speeding car, which was in line with Bird right before she abruptly stopped. Detectives just can't tell what it is.
It's got to be just a random shooting, that she just happened to be at the absolute wrong place at the wrong time.
Even if Lieutenant Spencer had an answer in this case, Gloria Bird knows her truth.
To me, justice would be my daughter's still here. You know, my daughter would be here. I could talk to her and call her or see her sometimes and hug her. That's not going to happen.
Now, Lieutenant Spencer acknowledges that surveillance video, it's not great. Obviously, it was dark. However, he hopes that at least highlighting the case again will help find a suspect. Meanwhile, Bird's cousin has set up a GoFundMe page. They're going to try and get the word out about the case again. We will have a link to that later on this morning at 8newsnow.com.
Your opinions are your own. It is not.
Stories like that really hit home. They're kind of hard to watch, and you know, it's an ongoing issue. It's an ongoing problem, unfortunately. And hopefully, you know, their families in our prayers.
Well, we pray for Gloria. We hope that we get some answers regarding Kamei Bird. If folks know anything, you know, we're showing that because we hope that, you know, somebody will see it and will have heard somebody talk about it. We're trying to get justice for the family and at least find out what happened. As Gloria said, it doesn't bring her home, and that's what would be justice. So our hearts go out to Kamei's family, and we're praying for her here at the Spokane Tribe.
All right. Well, I have a couple announcements. We have a video here from about Joe Seymour and some of the artwork that he did, but we'll go through a couple quick announcements here. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, that's Joe. And we'll go and we'll do the Climate Summit. So we have the National Tribal Leadership Climate Change Summit virtual session, session 3, Empowering Indigenous Youth Leadership in the Climate Movement, Tuesday, April 1st, 2021, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's sponsored by the Affiliated Tribes of Northwest Indians, United South and Eastern Tribes Incorporated, and the National Congress of American Indians. So, yeah, if you get a chance, again, we'll leave the links to that. You know, it's going to be a good, I got a feeling that old Don Sampson's coming out for that one. You know, he's very instrumental in raising awareness to issues in Indian country, and so we'll look forward to seeing him. We have another announcement here, and we'll pop this on. This is coming out of the National Congress of American Indians. Off their webpage, they have, let's see, they have launched their NCAI COVID-19 microsite.
These parts,
access actively updated legislative information, funding opportunities, healthcare information, and more on the new NCAI microsite. That's www.ncai.org/COVID-19. It's their microsite. They want to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I think that it's kind of a cool thing that they're focusing on how it's affecting Indian country. So yeah. So now we have a story.
I was just going to say, you know, about that climate change and the work from AT&I. You know, tribes get hit first, and they get hit the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So we love that AT&I staying right on that. And then, of course, you mentioned the microsite for NCI. Pretty cool.
Yeah, well, let's see. We go here and here. And now we have a nice little video on a coastal artist that did some work at Olympia. It turned out pretty cool. And so we're going to go ahead and share that with you just a couple minutes, and we'll keep things moving.
About 2.5 years ago, Ken and Julie Brogan contacted me and telling me they wanted some traditional Squaxin art on the side of their building. I came up with the idea to put some salmon swimming upstream, you know, considering that we have the mouth of the Deschutes here and Tumwater Falls just, you know, about a mile and a half away. This is our traditional land. This is Squaxin land. A lot of the art that I do is traditional Coast Salish style art. So basically, I just want to keep our traditions alive. I want to keep our culture alive. I want to honor my ancestors, and I want to be able to provide something for other generations to follow. When we have native art like this, it establishes a presence that you know, natives still exist in the modern world. We're not just a myth. You know, this is going to be here, you know, 70, 100 years from now, after, you know, we're dead and gone. But, you know, this building, this salmon will still be here. Hopefully they'll still light up too. It was a huge honor, and I was really humbled, you know, to transform it into this, you know, this fabulous building right now. You know, I knew that it was a monumental task. Everything that I knew about art, I really had to utilize, and I learned a lot more. So for me, it was a huge opportunity to, like I said, let people know, you know, this is Coast Salish land. This is Squaxin Island territory. You know, for so long, you know, people associate Pacific Northwest with totem poles and form line design from Southeast Alaska and British Columbia. And you know, I respect my cousins from up north, but you know, this is Coast Salish territory, and I wanted to be sure that there was no mistake in the design, that it could be mistaken for anything other than, you know, Coast Salish salmon. And you know, when Ken and Julie, you know, gave me that opportunity, I seized it, and I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of talking with my mentors, and I think we really, you know, hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I think you really hit the ball out of the ballpark on that one, man.
That's really cool.
It's just beautiful, you know, and to be able to see it right next to the Capitol like that, gosh, and you know, it's a monumental task to be able to do something like that for an artist to go in. There's so many different factors involved, you know. You have to think of the weatherization and the lighting and how it's going to be lit, and there's just all sorts of things that are involved aside from the fabrication and the design and all that. There was just a lot that goes into it. If you want something that's going to last a long time, it takes some planning. It's not just something that you gotta, you know, you pop up. So that's really cool to see, and we're gonna have to, I want to go check it out. That's all there is to it. I just want to go see it in person and get some photos of it and just check it out. Yeah. So I have another story here. This one is on the Klamath. So we've been following what's going on with the Klamath, and this one, oh yeah, the Klamath tribe. On Wednesday, February 24, 2021, in an order from Klamath County Circuit Court Judge Cameron F. Wogan, the Oregon court again affirmed the Klamath tribe's water and treaty rights. Wednesday's order rejected attacks on the tribe's water determined by the Oregon Water Resource Department, the OWRD, during the administrative phase of the Klamath Basin adjudication, the KBA. So, the KBA affirmed the senior priority date of the Klamath tribe's water rights in the Klamath Basin and upheld the need to maintain a healthy and productive habitat to meet the tribe's treaty rights to fish, hunt, trap, and gather. Klamath Tribe's Chairman Don Gentry responded to the order. We are pleased that Judge Wogan upheld the rulings from the administrative phase of the KBA. He reaffirmed that the 1864 treaty entered into between the Klamath tribes and the United States reserved to the tribes sufficient water to keep our fisheries and other aquatic resources healthy so that we can protect our natural resources and cultural traditions. It's a great story. We just touched on it briefly. You know, that's awesome. We're seeing more and more how Indian tribes are able to bring in their treaties and get those rights reinforced. You know, it's really exciting. So we're going to have to keep an eye on some of the other tribes, but that one's fairly local. So we've got Tony Louie on the line. So we're going to say, how you doing, Tony?
How's it going, Jeff?
I'm pretty good, man.
Can you guys hear me all right? Hey, Margo, how you guys doing?
Good, good. Good to see you.
Yeah, long time no see.
Where are you coming to us from? Where are you at?
Actually coming to you guys from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh my gosh.
Follow-up story to what you guys were just talking about. I just moved down here, I think a month before that happened to Kamaya, and kind of hit close to home as kind of a nerve-wracking thing when I've just moved from that area, and someone from right across the river on your guys' end on the res was killed on the freeway. That was something else.
Yeah, so we are glad to see you this morning, Tony. You know, at our last show, we visited with J.G. Pacotis, and he was giving us a little bit of an update on some of your guys' activities. And, you know, we called JG and thought maybe he was in Nispelem or Omak, and he was coming to us from Tulsa, right? And then now we're calling you, and holy smokes, you guys are nationwide. It's like a ZZ Top song.
We all made some transitions through this pandemic. I think they were both necessary moves kind of for the way we're trying to take our careers and our music, and I just kind of felt the time was right to change the scenery, and when things open up down here, hopefully have more opportunities as far as playing live music. And you know, this is one of the best places to be an entertainer. So,
wow,
you know.
Congratulations, man. You know, it takes a leap of faith, and you know, it's part of your journey, and I'm sure it'll help you grow. What kind of things have you been up to since you've been down there?
Oh, well, you know, everything's been pretty quiet as far as the pandemic's concerned. So as far as music goes, it hasn't really been too active. You know, I've been trying to stay kind of self-quarantine myself, trying not to be out in public. I mean, I've been asked to play so many different gigs, but I kind of just went off the grid just intentionally because of how crazy things have been with the pandemic. I don't feel it was appropriate to be promoting social gatherings by playing live shows, you know, of any sort, in my opinion. So I've just been kind of laying low as far as that's concerned, and then making music behind the scenes instead, and kind of going inward with our studio work. And we had a big artist residency up in Sisters, Oregon for a month. So we got to use these state-of-the-art facilities and really dive into our music and get stuff ready for this year's NAMAs. So yeah, I've got a lot of different projects coming, so you guys will just have to stay tuned.
Yeah, so you were on the road. I think you were in Switzerland or something last year. You've been performing all over the place before the pandemic hit?
Yep, I was going like a madman, really. But it was a little moment to step back, honestly, and kind of reflect and adjust, my path. Because I think you get caught up in, especially playing live music, man. I was just playing every weekend, anywhere, anytime, just thinking that was being productive, which it was in a lot of ways. But I think you can calculate your moves a little more and work smarter, not harder. My voice stays fresh now.
Right on. So the COVID has given you a little time off to do your creative work without some of the pressures of performing every day, and gives you a little bit of time to do your work.
Yep, exactly. And kind of recreate who you want to be. Kind of get stuck in a box, not intentionally, but just you got to get ready for the next weekend set. You got to make, there's little time to adjust when you're kind of going at a high rate. So I kind of got to step back and see what myself in a clear lens and be able to decide where I want to take my art. And it's kind of shifted into different ways. I saw James was talking about it on the show. I did this spoken word piece. I'm not sure when I'll be able to be released, but I just submitted it for my first film festival. So I guess I'm dabbling in the film world now. So I'm not too sure where I'm going, but it's always a fun journey to kind of let the cards unfold, I guess.
Yeah, James said it was pretty amazing, the recording you did. So we're looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be giving you guys the previews so you guys can show it on the show, which I really love, by the way, man. You guys have some high quality stuff. I'm loving what you guys are doing. So congrats to you guys for keeping it going.
Well, thanks. We're just trying to, tell the stories that are interesting, that relate to our own tribes here in the Inland Northwest. News and events, sports. We've got kids going to state in basketball. We've got folks like you out there in the entertainment world. So we're just trying to cover news that other folks don't cover.
Yeah, it's so good to see your face, man. It's so good to see your face and hear your voice.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. I'm hoping the world finds a little bit of normalcy here, so I can come home and play a show. Get everyone gathered again.
Yeah, I think you make so many people proud. I think you make your whole family proud.
So Tony, you have lots of skills that people don't know about. You were training to be an EMT. Is that on hold a little bit, or
Yeah.
that was that kind of paying the bills, and then your career took off, or?
Yeah, it was kind of a direction I was planning on heading, just because back home it had a schedule that fit kind of a music lifestyle in a way where you work 2 days on 5 days off type of thing. But I ended up just switching gears completely because the pandemic hit right before I was certified to start into the EMT work. For better or worse, might have been a godsend, who knows, so it's like I really stopped pushing in that direction, because obviously the pandemic shut everything down, and it was a eye-opener. Do you want to be in the medical field when they're the real heroes of this year, so I'm not sure if it would have been I don't know, mentally I don't know if I could have handled it. It seemed like a lot of stress, so I have a lot of respect for everyone in the first responders and the medical field that weathered the storm with everyone in 2020.
Yeah. Well, earlier when we were introducing you, I mentioned your dad, Bob Louie, and playing with Grey Wolf. You want to give a shout out to your mom? I know she always shows up to your concerts, and sometimes you play a song for her. You want to give a shout out?
Yeah, yep. Give a shout out to my mom, my grandma, everyone back home in Shalim. That's the family. I definitely am missing those times, the TLT moments, but they're running through my veins. I could feel the Grey Wolf and Coyote Moon still living strong. So.
Right on. Yeah, you know, when we think about Tony Louie, we're thinking about Inchlim days, and when your grandmas were all lined up out there, that's the first picture that comes to my mind. I don't know about, you know, Jeff took a couple pictures of that, and I think we got you one, but all the yayettes all lined up, and we're so proud of you. Inchlim boy right there, and down in Las Vegas, so... Thanks for tuning in, Tony. Thanks for calling in or you taking our calls and doing the interview. We wish you the best. And be sure and check in. Let us know when your spoken word drops. And we're looking forward to an album. I'm telling you, I'm waiting for your album to drop. So
well, you won't be waiting too much longer. So
okay.
Soon. I appreciate you guys having me on and keep up the good fight.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Right. Good to see you, man.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Later.
Tony Louie.
All right.
Very cool.
Wow. I'm glad to hear he's doing good. You know, it had to be hard, you know, going into the pandemic, knowing that was, you know, coming up. You know, he had to make, I'm sure, which was a hard choice because he had a lot of time and effort invested in that. And, you know, it's got to be kind of just like sitting on your hands in Las Vegas as a performer now. So, you know, it's just like, you know, we'll be keeping an eye on Tony, and we're going to make sure that we get any of his new content coming out. We have a link. We'll leave a link. If you don't know Tony, we'll leave a link to his YouTube channel, and the link that we're going to leave is to one of my favorite songs of his. It's called Drifter Soul, and it talks about being on the road and his life and where his music's led him and the growth and all that. And it's definitely one of my favorite tunes of his. And yeah, we're just definitely going to have to keep an eye on Tony. I'm glad he could join us.
Yeah, you know, he's a homegrown Inchlim boy, and so we like to check in with him and see the work he's doing. So thanks so much, Tony. And of course, as we sign out, Jeff, I want to just say happy birthday to Warren Saylor. It was his birthday yesterday. You know, he's a tribal historian, and he does a lot of work in the schools. You know, he's done some work with you on some of your videos, the water quality video, but also he's really helped instill a lot of pride across the tribe.
Yeah, coaching and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, he's a man of multi-talents. So that being said, I think we're out of time. Once again, we appreciate you coming in. If you'd like to be kept up to date on what we're doing here, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always go back and check out some of the old episodes that we were doing back when we were touring around the area, checking out the events and the powwows and relay races and all the different things, you know, the cultural events and all that too. So until Friday, Lemlemsh, Che Uhoy.